lesson for today is about writing the equation of conic sections from general form to standard form. So first, we're going to talk about what are those conic sections. Conic sections, we have circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. Now, illustrate these conic sections in our Cartesian plane. Circle, parabola, the ellipse, and the hyperbola. So those are what we call conic sections. So let's talk about the standard form of equation of conic sections. First, the circle. The equation of the circle in the standard form is x minus h quantity square plus y minus k quantity square equals to r square. In parabola, we have x minus h quantity square equals 4p times y minus k. In ellipse, we have x minus h quantity square over a square plus y minus k quantity square over b square equals to 1. In hyperbola, we have x minus h quantity square over a square minus y minus k quantity square over b square equals to 1. So what is this general form of equation of a conic section? The general equation of conic sections is given by ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals to 0. And a, b, c, d, e, and f are all constants. Now, in this lesson, we are going to derive the equation of conic section from general to standard form. Okay, for number 1, we have here x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus y is 6. So in deriving this general form to standard form, equation is first we are going to regroup all the common terms in our given equation. So we are going to group those variables or those numbers with the same variables, and we are going to isolate those numbers without variables. So first, we're going to regroup all the terms with x and all the terms with y. So we have here x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 8y equals to 6. Now, after regrouping the terms with the same variables, we are going to enclose that into parentheses. Okay, next step. We have here x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 8y. So in this step, we are going to apply the completing the square. So we have here x squared plus 6x. Then we're going to put a space plus y squared minus 8y space for the next term equals 6. Now, in this case, we are going to apply the completing the squares. In applying completing the squares, we need to take the half of the second term and then we are going to square the half of this second term. Then we're going to add that in your equation. So the half of 6 is 3 and the square of 3 is 9. Therefore, we're going to add 9. So that is how we complete the squares. Next, we have here y squared minus 8y. The same process. We need to take the half of this second term. The half of 8 is 4 and the square of 4 is 16. Therefore, we are going to add 16. Now, if we add 9 here on our right side, left side, therefore we're going to add 9 on the right side. Why? In order to balance our equation. And then, if we add 16 here, we're going to add 16 here. We are going to factor this in binomial. X plus 3 quantity squared and the factors of this in binomial form is y. Since the sign here is negative, therefore we're going to follow where we have minus sign here and the square root of 16. And we are going to add 6 plus 9 is 15 plus 16 is 31. Now, after we deriving the general form equation to the standard form, we're going to tell what is this equation. Okay, so since we don't have any denominator in this equation, it can be a circle or a parabola. For the exponents, the exponents of this is we have 2 exponents, therefore it is a circle. For number 2, we have here x squared plus 4x plus 12y equals 56. So first, we are going to regroup all the terms with x variable and y variable. So we have here x squared plus 4x plus 12y equals to 56. So since we have here 12y and wala na siyang kasama, so iwan na lang natin siya sa kabila. Okay? So we have here x squared plus 4x equals to negative 12y plus 56. Okay. Next is we are going to complete the squares. We have here x squared plus 4x. Completing the square, we are going to need to take the half of 4 is 2 and the square root of 2 is 4 plus 4. Now, pag nag-plus tayo dito ng 4, mag-add din tayo dito ng 4. This is negative 12y plus 56 plus 4. So, after we complete the squares of these terms, we are going to rewrite this in binomial form. So first we're going to take the square root of the first term. So the square root of the first term is x. Then the sign is addition because we have here all positive sign. And the square root of the last term is 2. Then we're going to enclose that in parentheses and we're going to put the exponent. Then we have here my negative 12y plus 56 plus 4. So first we're going to combine this common term. We have negative 12y plus 56 plus 4 is 60. So since we have here negative 12y plus 60 and negative 12y, our 12 and 60 have common term, we are going to factor that out. So we have x plus 2 quantity squared equals to negative 12 times y plus I said this is because negative 12y negative 12 times y is negative 12y. Negative 12 times negative 5 is positive 60. Okay, so we are going to identify the derived equation from the general form to the standard form if what kind of conic section is this. So in this case, we don't have a denominators here, therefore it can be a circle or a parabola. So since the exponent in this equation is just only 1, therefore it is a parabola. Have 9x squared plus 25y squared minus 36x plus 50y minus 164 equals to 0. So the first thing that we are going to do is to regroup all those terms with x and those terms with y, and for those terms without variables, we are going to isolate that in our right side. So we have here 9x squared minus 36x plus 25y squared plus 50y, and since this 164 doesn't have any variables, therefore to put that on the right side, so this will be equal to 164. Now after regrouping those terms with the same variables, we are going to put a parenthesis each of the terms. So we have here 9x squared minus 36x and 25y squared plus 50y. After putting this parenthesis, we are going to apply completing the squares. Okay, so since we have here 9x squared minus 36x and 9 and 36 have common terms, we are going to factor that out before we complete the squares. So we have here 9 times x squared minus 4x. Now, to check this if the factors is correct, we're going to multiply that. So 9 times x squared is 9x squared, 9 minus 4x is 36x. Then, we have here 25 and 15. So the common term between these two numbers is 25. So we have here times y squared plus 2y. Okay, so let's check if the factors is correct. So 25 times y squared is 25y squared. 25 plus 2y is 50y. Since we get the factors, we can now complete the squares. So we have here 9 times x squared minus 4x. So in completing the squares, we need to take the half of the second term. The half of 4 is 2 and the square of 2 is 4. So we are going to add 4. Okay. Next, we have 25 times y squared plus 2y. So to complete the squares, we need to take the half of 2. The half of 2 is 1, and then the square of 1 is just only 1. And we're going to add 1 equals to 164. Okay, so since we have added these terms plus 4 and or positive 4 and positive 1, therefore we need to add terms on our right side in order to balance our equation. Now, since this 4 has 9 here, so we are going to multiply this before we add this term. Okay, so 9 times 4 is, we are going to add 36. The same with 25 and 1. 25 times 1 is 25. Okay, so after completing the squares and balancing the equation, we are going to write our perfect square trinomial into binomial form. So this is 9, and the square root of x squared is x. And since the sign is negative, we have minus sign here, and the square root of the last term is 2. Then we're going to put our exponent. Next, we have here 25, and the square root of y squared is y. The sign is positive, and then the square root of the last term is 1, and the exponent is 2. Okay, and then we're going to combine 164, 36, and 25. This is equal to 225. Okay, so in this equation we have 9 and 25. In order to eliminate this 9 and 25 or these coefficients, we are going to divide both sides by 225. 200. Now, 9 or 25 divided by 9 is, we have here 1, and we have here 25. And 25 divided by 225 divided by 25, we have 9, and 25 divided by 25 is 1. Okay. And 25 here. Should be equal. Okay. Now, writing the final equation, this is x minus 2 quantity squared over 25 plus y plus 1 quantity squared over 9 equals to 1. Now, after writing the equation of the standard equation, isolate from the general equation to the standard equation, we are going to identify if what kind of conic section is this. Okay, so first, we can see that we have denominators here. Therefore, it can be a hyperbola or an ellipse. Next, the operations. The operations, we have here addition. So, if we have addition, that is our ellipse. Okay, for number 4, we have 4x squared minus 16x minus 9y squared minus 54y minus 101 equals to 0. So first, we're going to regroup all the terms with x variables and y variables and isolate those terms without variables. So we have here 4x squared minus 16x minus 9y squared minus 54y equals to 101. Next, we are going to enclose that in parentheses. Now, since we enclose negative 9y squared minus 54y, this will be positive. Okay, next is factor out 4x minus 4x. And then complete the squares by taking the half of b. This will be x squared. Taking the half of b is 2 and 2 squared is 4. Minus. Factoring out the common terms, which is 9 times y squared minus 6y. And then by completing the square, we need to take the half of 6, which is 3, and 3 squared is 9. So we have 9 equals to 101. Now, if we add 4 and 9 here, we're going to add terms in this side by multiplying 4 times 4 is positive 16 or plus 16, negative 9 times 9, that is negative 81. Now, after completing the square, we are going to rewrite that in binomial form. So we have here 4 times x, since the sign is negative, this is negative 4x. Sorry, this is negative, and the square root of the last term is 2, and our exponent is 2. Minus 9, and the square root of the first term is y, the sign is negative, and the square root of the last term is 3. Exponent is 2. And 101 plus 16 minus 81 is 36. Now, to eliminate those coefficients for these variables, we are going to divide both sides by 36. So we're going to divide this into 36. This will be 1, and this will be 9. This will be 1, this will be 4. writing the final equation of this conic section, we have x minus 2 quantity squared over 9 minus y minus 3 quantity squared over 4 equals to 1. Okay, so this is our standard form of equation from this general form. Now we are going to tell or identify if what kind of conic section is this. First, we can see the denominators. We have denominators, we have the exponents, but we have the operation which is subtraction. Therefore, this is your So that's all for this video, and I hope you understand and get some ideas about writing the equation from general to standard form of conic sections. Ciao.